Hey, welcome back.
Hello. I'm Greg.
And I'm Julie
Gorman.
And we're super excited to have you back in our living room. You'll notice we've got our Christmas tree up now.
Yeah, did you get yours up? Hey, you need to wake up and get your Christmas tree up. It's time.
Christmas tea?
Yeah, just tree. Your Christmas tree. It's that time of year. Yeah. We had a lot of fun putting our Christmas tree up, didn't we?
We did have a lot of fun.
A family tradition thing that we do have a lot of fun with, don't we?
Usually, except for 1 year. 1 year.
Our kids would love to tell that story.
Yeah, so 1 year. Just as hello everybody, yeah, we're getting some hellos and all of that fun stuff. Real quick, 1 year, I have to tell on myself, because I was trying to get music playing and everybody wants some Christmas music. So I was in charge of getting the Christmas music. Well, in the midst of it, for some reason, I was saying something and the dog was acting up. And you guys started giggling and chuckling, and I thought that they were making fun of me. And so in the midst of it, we're videotaping. We don't
ever make fun of you.
Oh, no, never at all, no. So it was pretty funny, though, because you were laughing at the dog, and I thought they were laughing at me. And so in the midst of all of it, in the commotion, Courtney broke a Christmas bulb. You guys were laughing.
That's part of the tradition, too.
Yep, the dog was barking. And in the midst of it, I go, I hate decorating the Christmas tree. So I was like,
that.
Yeah. And it's on video. We'll have to show it to you.
It's on video, actually, which makes it all that much more awesome.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to laugh at yourself when you have those moments, huh?
That's it. And you know what? That's what we're talking about today. Last week, we talked about three things: of connecting, conversation, and keeping Christ at the center of Christmas. So today we wanted to elaborate on that.
We didn't talk about Thanksgiving last week?
Oh, I guess we did. See my brain. Anyway, all that to say,
it'd be the holiday.
Today we're talking about making memories, not madness, and we did talk about that last week.
We probably talked about all of it.
Yeah. So why don't you start us off a little bit, and let's get some purpose to this
Did you like how she just passed that off to me because there was kind of a... Anyway.
Yeah, I'm in charge of the computer.
Okay.
So thanks hey, give us a shout out if you're watching live today. We'd love to hear some of your favorite Christmas traditions.
Mm-hmm.
And Gregory?
Uh-huh. So we were talking about this a little bit today, and we were just talking about something that I think that we all reference from time to time, and that's just really the over-commercialization of the Christmas holiday and holidays in general, really. And we were really talking about some of the things that we've done. We talked about some best practices for finances, which we'll dive into some of that today.
Yep.
And we also talked about some of our favorite memories. So we're going to unpack that just a little bit. And so we thought that it would just be good, since, finances in marriage is one of those top things that seems to cause a lot of issues. We found that it is not uncommon at all for husband and wife, one of them to be the spender of the family, and the other to be the one who's a little more conservative and not as...
We kind of switched that role back and forth, spender and saver. I don't know, yeah.
You think we've switched it over the years?
No, on any given day.
Yeah, I think I could give you that. Yeah, we do kind of, don't we?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I like to spend.
All of that to say, I think...
And sometimes I like to save too, but I actually would prefer to spend it than save it most of the time. Anyway, what were you going to say?
No, I just think that it's good as we go into the Christmas holiday, some of the best practices that we've had over the years. We've decided at different times, so some of the things that we've done that have helped us in our journey throughout the holidays. I remember 1 year in particular that we had decided just to spoil the kids rotten. And so this goes along with one of my favorite Christmas memories as well.
This is one of our favorite Christmas
and
memories.
So
I know where you're headed.
We had purchased our son this huge, like gigantic walking raptor, right? So he was into dinosaurs, crazy. He loved dinosaurs. And so we saved this huge package, and they're ripping open packages, and we have tons more of packages underneath of our Christmas tree. It was just one of those years that we probably overspent, quite honestly. In that, Joshua kept, well, can I open it now? Can I open it now? Can I open it now? Every single time. And finally it got to that last present for him, and he was like, okay, you can open it.
Yep.
And so he just ripped the papers off. He was all excited, and he's probably, what, 3, 4, somewhere
Probably
around
around 4, I think.
Probably around 4.
Yeah.
And he gets in there and he rips the present open, and he sees this gigantic raptor that he'd been wanting this whole time. He had begged for it. We bought it. And then as soon as he saw it, he threw the paper and started running around and asked for another present.
He's like, I want another one, another one.
And I said, well, I think I'm just going to take that back. And I said, it doesn't seem
don't
like
you like it?
And I said, I don't think you like it so much. And he looked up without hesitation. He goes, no, I like it so much. My tummy just wants more.
My tummy just wants another one, yeah.
And so it was pretty comical. And what we realized is we had overindulged, overstimulated our kids. And we vowed that we would never do that again.
Yeah.
And we simplified Christmas. And I think that talks, though, a lot about human nature, right? We always just want something a little more or something a little different.
Well,
if we're
certainly
not
an
careful.
easy trap to fall into, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, just I know I've been guilty of it many times. I probably am guilty of it sometimes now. You think I'm guilty of it
I
still?
know. No, I think you're good.
I think I'm still guilty sometimes. But anyway, you know, it's really easy to fall for the entrapments of this particular season and really in life in a lot of ways. And I really do believe that God designed us in our nature to want to be, do, and have more. I think it's part of what gives us the motivation to get up and drive each day, you know, to accomplish or do things to a large degree. And you know, and it's just easy to fall into that entrapment. Go ahead. What was you going to say?
No, I think so. As we go into the holiday and we talk about making Christ at the center of it, we talk about having conversation. What are some of the things that you would say have been your favorite memories, or some of your favorite practices that we've kind of stumbled on over the years that we could share?
Well, there's a couple of things when it comes to, I have a couple of very good memories, and we'll save those for the end. How about that?
All right,
we'll
sounds
talk
good.
about our favorite Christmas memories at the end. All
Yeah.
right. So some of the best practices that we've implemented over the years to help keep from overindulging or overspending during the holiday season in particular is, number one, we moved our family Christmas. So we have like our immediate family, meaning our kids in our household. We have that generally on Christmas morning. But then for the big family Christmases, we kind of all as family agreed. Now, Julie and I actually had a strategy in this when we did it, but I don't know if the rest of the family did or not. But we actually do the big family Christmas after Christmas holiday. And the reason that we like doing that is because a few days after Christmas, man, there's some good sales. I mean, those clearance racks are really full, and they're ready to just dump all of that Christmas inventory that they don't want to have to hang on to for another year. So,
and you can find out what all your relatives got so that you don't buy them the same gift
right?
as well. Yeah.
So I think another thing too that's just and this is real basic stuff, but I think most of the time the best fixes, if you will, or management things are really, really basic things. We agree on what our Christmas budget is going to be together as husband and wife, what we're going to spend on Christmas. And that's something I think that a lot of couples really fail to do. We have failed to do it from time to time as well, and inevitably it ends up being bigger than really what it should be. And you know, in this day and age, we've got credit cards, and most of us purchase things with credit cards. It's the easy way, and it's convenient, and all that good stuff, but it also kind of takes the bite out of actual spending when you see your checking account dwindling. And we just always think it's a bummer to have to, go into January and February with unsecured debt. So We agree on what that spending is going to be, and then we adhere to that and we communicate. Now, where that can get a little bit tricky sometimes is when we're actually buying for one another.
He wants to spend way too much money on me, and that's the truth.
I do. I do.
So
You're
one of the
easy to
things,
spoil.
one of the things that we do, that's kind of funny. We choose to buy our kids a single gift. We've done that in the past as well.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
Instead of like buying this and then buying another thing, what we found is if we're buying 3, 4, 5 things, we can easily begin to overspend.
Yeah.
And so we try to concentrate on what is it that they would really enjoy.
Yes.
What is it that they're going to not just enjoy for the day, like electronics. Maybe you could speak to that when they were kids, right? That whole.
Well, even now, honestly, kids especially, I think they watch TV, and so they see a lot of different things that looks cool, and of course, the ads on television are designed to make it look more fun than what it actually is. You ever experienced that? And so we really determined, and we still do this. That they're practically grown at this point. But we really think about, not only for the kids actually, but for each other and even extended family. When we do gifts for extended family, we really try to think, I'm gonna use the word practical, but I would like to explain it to you. We try to think practically. And what I mean by that is not, buying my wife a vacuum cleaner because it's practical. That's not at all what I'm talking about. I'm talking about really thinking about something that's unique and something they would actually use. They can actually use it for fun, or they can use it for a practical use, as an example. But, with our kids, what we realized, we watched this in the early years, just as an example, that big T-Rex that you were talking about, you kept calling it a raptor. It was a T-Rex.
Yeah, okay.
It's just one of those things that, how I'm kind of got my own idiosyncrasies and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's T-Rex, but anyway, it was a dinosaur. So he played with that thing, as cool as it was, this big giant T-Rex robot. You would think it'd be like the coolest thing since sliced bread. You just while away the hours with this thing, right? Mm-hmm. He played with it like 3 times. Literally.
Total
You
waste of
want to
money.
know what they played with more when they were younger? The 3 of them. And Courtney was quite a bit older than the other 2 kids.
Yep.
But they still, together, no kidding, would play with the boxes, like the big boxes that were left over from all of the Christmas gifts. Man, they would build cities out of those boxes. They would put them at the top of the stairs and slide down with them and everything else. So not that we're encouraging you to necessarily get boxes for your kids, but to think about really what will they use and what is just hypey stuff that's going to be cool for about 5 minutes and then thrown into the corner. And that's another practical thing that I think that we've learned over the years that helps keep us from overspending.
Yeah. So setting a budget, thinking about a gift that's going to last long past the day, and then just simplifying it. I remember one of my, I think what's important to both of us is keeping Christ at the center of it. So if you look on our personal pages or some of the other videos that we've done, you'll see that we always celebrate the Christmas keys, and it's our way of being able to, it's like one of my favorites. So this is my favorite Christmas tradition.
The keys are on the tree, so they're not in here, but this is in the box.
We found that sitting down and reading the entire nativity when they were young was excruciating for them, but we also wanted to keep Christ at the center. And so we actually got a gift of these 3 Christmas keys, and by doing it, it tells the Christmas story, but in like 3 short paragraphs. And then we also, one of the other things that I love that keeps Christ at the center for the holiday is we continually, either around the kitchen table or as we're done opening up presents or before opening presents, we usually pray, obviously. Mm-hmm. But the other thing that we do is we say one thing that we're extremely thankful for. Mm-hmm. We also share one way, and this will happen throughout the Christmas week as we're opening up presents. We'll have a conversation about one thing we're thankful for, and then another conversation piece, because it's really important for us to stay connected and to keep Christ at the center. And so we have conversation pieces of what is God teaching you.
Right.
What's he taught you in this last year? And what do you think he's calling you to believe for in the new year?
Oh, and it's such good conversation, you know. And sometimes we may or may not have those answers, and sometimes our kids may or may not have the answers to those questions, but it's always, always a good conversation piece. And honestly, I would say not just a conversation piece, but a connection piece, right? We were kind of driving down the road today, doing some Christmas shopping, actually, and we were talking about the difference between connection and conversation too.
Yep.
And we decided that conversation is, you know, it's just dialogue between each other, but that connection is really when we move into the other person's world and try to understand their world a little bit more. There's a connection that happens when we do that. Did I get that right?
Yeah. So two of my favorite conversation pieces, as well as an opportunity to connect, is to ask people as we share a meal together, what's God taught you in this last year, and what's he calling you to believe for in the new year?
Yeah, we actually got that from a good friend of ours, or at least part of that.
Yeah, from John Griffin.
John and
Antoinette.
Antoinette Griffin. Hi, John and Antoinette Griffin. Yeah, and so that was cool. They had a little token that they passed around, and so we adapted that. And so at Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners, you know, one person just chooses who's going to be next after they tell.
He keeps doing this because we'll use like a turkey or we'll use an angel, and it gets spread
pass
around the
the
table.
angel.
Pass the angel.
And the person.
Last week we talked about passing the turkey, and it was a small turkey, not the whole turkey.
Well, we passed the whole turkey too.
Well, yeah.
But not for the sake of the conversation. Anyway.
Yeah. So as far as connection and keeping Christ at the center, think about for your family how you can do that, how you can bring Christ into it. For us, it was the Christmas tree or Christmas keys. For us, it's conversations around the table. We're intentional about making sure that we don't get caught up in the commercialization, and we try to model that out for our kids, and we try to model that out for anybody that we encounter over the holiday season.
So the next thing I would say is we get to talk about our Christmas memories, favorite Christmas memories. And the reason we thought this would be important to bring up to you all today and cause you to hopefully think and ponder a little bit going into this season before you buy all the Christmas presents, so that maybe you can keep from overspending this year.
Hopefully.
Is really thinking back, what are your favorite Christmas memories? What are your favorite holiday memories? Now look, was it a gift? Was it a gift? And look, if you've got a favorite gift that stands out in your mind, look, there's no judgment on my part. I've got a couple of those that come to mind when I think about my favorite Christmas memories. It's like, oh man, you know what? There's a couple of gifts there. One that stands out.
Are you gonna get, he's going to get teary-eyed.
No, I'm not. There's two that stand out that were gifts for me. One was when my dad got me a motorcycle, and it was a used motorcycle. But I'm telling you, that was and still one of my favorite gifts of all time. And you know what? It's a great memory too, because it defined a lot of my childhood. It was someplace I could go to escape and be by myself and get out in the woods and ride and jump things. And I was an absolute idiot. Believe that.
Oh, never.
But I had so much fun, and all my friends had so much fun on that bike. And then the other one too was when you bought me a watch, and it was because of all of the work and that you put into keeping it a secret. And
here's the thing though about me for Christmas. I'm just going to tell on myself again. I have to buy the gift like Christmas Eve. Otherwise, I'm going to give it well in advance. Did you give
me the watch in advance?
I gave you the watch in advance. I couldn't wait.
That's funny.
I worked so hard to keep it a secret.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, you did work hard, because she had like everybody and their brother involved with, picking this watch out. It was cool. But I think some of the other memories really surround time with family and just connection. I remember the last Christmas I was with my grandparents before they passed. And I will get choked up over that one.
Right.
But what a great memory of just all being together as a family. I lost an uncle, a very dear uncle, in the last couple of years. And I remember, goodness, I remember Christmases with them.
Right.
When I was a kid, and just the big holiday get together.
Right.
You better take it for a minute till I get it.
Well, that's exactly what it's about. It's if we can stop long enough to not be fed by the TV, to not be fed what we should want, where our tummy just wants more, and realize that it really is about connecting. It really is about conversation. It really is about being intentional to be present with the person that, or family members.
Sorry, am I pulling your hair?
Yeah, you are. That's all right.
I'm sorry.
And to make Christ the center of it. For me, you asked me, Greg asked me earlier what one of my favorite childhood memories was. And I remember as a little kid, I don't know why this has stood out in my mind over the years, but a few years ago, God reminded me of a Christmas when I was a kid. And I remember we had this little, like, baby Jesus. And I was so touched because we had all opened up our presents, and it was about Christ's birthday. And I started getting really melancholy. I was really sad as a little kid. I was like 5 years old, 6 years old, maybe at the most.
Right.
And so I picked up the baby Jesus, and I went and I hid behind the Christmas tree, and I sang happy birthday to him. And I started crying because I was so sad.
This is my wife.
I was so sad because we had all gotten presents, and I hadn't bought anything for Jesus. And so I sang him a little birthday song. And I held him, and I rocked him, and I gave him a little kiss. And so now, as an adult, I can look back.
She hasn't changed a bit, just so you know, which I love about you.
But I look back as an adult, and I was like, oh, that's the heart that I want to have at Christmas time. It's what can I give Jesus? Because he's given me so much. And which brings me to our favorite, I think, Christmas was the Christmas we decided we weren't going to have Christmas gifts. We weren't going to purchase Christmas gifts as a family for ourselves. Instead, we decided to take the money that we would have spent on us, and we spent it on another family that wouldn't have otherwise been able to have Christmas. And I remember bringing the kids in, and we had a conversation of all the things that we had. And we talked about all of the gifts and all of the stuff we had gotten over the year. And
No, you're
and
good.
How,
I didn't.
how we wanted to bless another family. And so we took a family vote. It was unanimous. And I think in our kids' mind, it probably stands out as one of their favorite Christmas to remember as well.
Absolutely. And, you know, it wasn't one of those deals where we set them up and put a guilt trip on them or anything like that. We really had a genuine conversation and left it very open and said, look, it's all good either way. But what do you think about foregoing our Christmas this year as a family and buying another family Christmas?
So as far as
and
for
they
you.
totally dug it.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
So for you, for this holiday, to make memories, not madness, simplify. Think about what really is going to be a lasting memory, something that'll be, right now I have been listening all year long for people like favorite suckers or favorite cheeses and a little $5 thing of cheese, right? Or an orchid, or just been
something
listening.
That's personal.
Something that's personal, inexpensive, but will stand out to them that you remembered them. You thought of them. And I think those are the gifts that mean the most. It's not the one that costs the most, but the one that you've put the most thought into.
I have one more thought.
Yeah, great.
And you're welcome to elaborate on this. But, another thing that we released ourselves from, we have 3 children. And we decided not to make sure that we spent the exact same amount of money on each one of the kids each year. That may sound really weird to some of you, but quite honestly, it comes back to value and what each child needs in that particular season, and what they value, what they'll find value in, and it's really not all about the dollars and cents. And so I would imagine that it's probably evened out over the years, but we've not been intentionally conscious about making sure that, you know, it's $100 on this one, $100 on this one, and $100 on that one, and it's 100 even all the way across the board, as an example.
And I think I
obviously.
struggled with that more because I wanted my kids to know that I loved them all the same.
Oh, yeah.
And so I put a dollar amount on that to somehow put a price tag on. I want you to know you're loved equally. I don't want you to think one's loved more than another.
Yeah.
And in that, it really was parenting out of fear rather than being able to look at each kid and say, you know what, we actually need to do a little bit more for this one this year because of the need or because of
Oh,
our
absolutely.
own financial.
Well, I mean, you know, especially as I'm thinking of the girls as an example right now. There's been a couple of years where we've got them computers.
Right.
As because of the type of school that they do and things of that nature. Josh doesn't have a need for it, you know, and at this point in the school, they actually like rent computers to him or whatever, which is awesome. But those are those are pretty spendy, and we just released ourselves from that. And I think it's just a good thought, you know. Consider that, ponder that. Think about the value of what it is that you're giving, and less about the dollar amount. And more about the actual value of the gift that you're given and how that person values it. Who else saying hello to us there?
Oh, we've got Jeremiah saying hello. Hello, Jeremiah. Julia.
Hey, Julia.
Hopkins. Hey, Julia. Nice to see you.
Julia, by the way, if you're still on
Kristen
here,
Wilson. Hello.
we sent you the marriage multiplier stuff today. In fact, we sent that out to a group of folks.
Yep.
If you would like to be a marriage multiplier, why don't you tell them how to become a marriage multiplier?
We'll
if they'd
put the
like to.
link on here. If you'd like to be a marriage multiplier, you'll see down in the comment section below where you can sign up for the list, and you'll automatically, if you'd like to impact marriages and move the needle for Jesus, right, to get marriages back to living purpose-focused, not problem-focused. For this holiday season, what we'd like to do is gift you with a valued gift of $100 in free videos that will help you facilitate change in those individual lives. So all
Yeah,
of that
small
to say,
group videos where you can meet with another couple or with a group of couples. The bottom line is, if you want to help us make an impact, or if you want to help you make an impact, help God make an impact in your community, within your circle, in marriages, and you know we need help make an impact in marriages, then we're going to give you the material to be able to do that. So reach out to us. Julie said she'll put a link up
I'll put
there.
a comment right underneath of this video, and we'll try to hopefully pin it to the top if I can be smart enough to know how to do that.
Well, if not, Jeremiah's smart enough to do it.
Yeah. So Kristen
cool
Wilson,
like that.
Jeremiah, Pam, all of you, thank you so much for joining us. We'd love to hear your thoughts as well. How do you keep Christ at the center of your Christmas? How do you have conversations and cultivate connection in the Christmas season?
Yeah, leave us a comment. Tell us about your favorite Christmas memories and all that good, happy stuff. All right?
All right.
You guys good? All right. We'll see you next week then.
Right here in our living room.
Have a great week, y'all.